Moving on with the second panel we have is knowing your consumer up close and the challenges. We have with us Kirti Agarwal, co-founder Store Hippo, Puneet Jindal, Managing Director Sleepsia India, Reshmi Menon, General Manager Marketing and PR, Suta Bombay, and Shivkumar Pandey, Head Digital Marketing and Strategy Alliances, Seniority and Evergreen Club. This panel will be moderated by Shanta Saikia, Editor-in-Chief at Gilly. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another session at the CMOs Charcha 2022. Today's session is knowing your consumer up close and the challenges as well as the opportunities that this throws up. Consumer behavior, as all of us know, has changed at an accelerated pace, especially in the last 2 years during the COVID period. We have seen buying behavior and the reconfiguration of household budgets happening almost overnight as the COVID struck. Healthcare, personal care, insurance, that took precedence over everything else during this time. But what has also been a remarkable transformation is that the overnight transition to digital, be it for work, for education, financial transactions, purchases, networking, content consumption, everything shifted to digital. All these have a long-term ramifications for brands as well as marketers, which they need to keep in mind, as they now have to know their customers on a different state of mind and in a different state of their life stage. So we would like to have our esteemed panelists over here to dwell upon the opportunities and the challenges of knowing this customer that has changed, that has been forced to relook at their lives and their preferences. And this is something that we are looking forward to today. So first and foremost, what I would like to know is how has the customer transition happened during the last 2 years? What are your observations as to the customer behavior change, their likes, dislikes, preferences, goals, and aspirations that have changed, especially in the last 2 years? So, Reshmi, would you like to start with it?
Sure. So I think, so if we have to look at e-commerce as a platform, right? I think over the last 2.5 years, customers have gone from being very skeptical of buying online to now trusting more. So the trust factor has improved, and the credit goes to the reviews that people see. So the customer has become more aware, more informed on a lot of aspects on buying online. So at Suta, we actually saw a surge of 50% more customers buying from our website. Suta has always been an e-commerce website, and we saw a surge over the last 2 years, 2.5 years. Coming to preferences, I think the preference earlier used to be, when I say preference, people used to buy something which was of a low AOE, which is your average order value, which is the low budget, low order value products. But in the 2.5 years, we've seen that the trust factor has improved, and also the ticket size or the cart value has improved over the years. And this is complemented by low return rate, which is a huge factor in any e-commerce business. Where the return rate increases, it eats up a lot of your revenue, right? So the low return rate has also added up to our revenues and also increasing to our profits. So these are a couple of factors which are predominantly worked in the last couple 2.5 years in terms of customer behavior. Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Reshmi. Puneet, you are an entrepreneur, and as you were stating earlier, in the business of providing quality sleep to your customers. And sleep is something which became of paramount importance, as people were confined to their homes, during the lockdown time. So what are your observations on consumers? Do they just randomly go and buy the products? How are they influenced now to have a more comfortable time spending at home?
See, I cannot comment about time spending at home, but I can say that yes, COVID was definitely a breakthrough for everybody, especially e-commerce brands. The velocity we saw, no one expected it actually. Let's be very honest. No one expected that kind of velocity when the lockdown happened. Second, most importantly, what I've observed and seen globally as well, the heavy investment by marketplaces, right? The heavy investment by the marketplace like the Amazon, the Flipkart, likes of Seniority, likes of Myntra. What really happened was that it gave an opportunity for, something, for example, like tomorrow Shanta decides to launch a pillow and says Shanta sleep pillow. She can list on Amazon. She can bid on keywords and rank number 1 on Amazon. So visibility increases. So what I felt that as people became more adapted, like Reshmi said, to use marketplaces and online, it gave a lot of opportunity for smaller brands to compete with the bigger brands, which caught a lot of bigger brands off guard. And I think brands are going to face a huge challenge. Tomorrow, if a smaller brand with a lot of money invests heavily on marketplaces, where will you find an opportunity to put your product at number 1 on an Amazon platform? And one more information, which I think a lot of people will know. If you look at the Amazon product search today on any specific product it's 4 to 5 times or 3 times higher than Google. Suppose you talk about maybe a cup of, grocery product. The search volume in Amazon panel will be higher than the Google panel. What does it indicate? It's 3x, and that's how bigger Jeff Bezos is 3 times richer than Google, right? So I think it's a dramatic change. That's why the D2C brands who can sustain, who can deliver quality products, now they get a level playing field to compete with bigger brands, I see. Because earlier, if I had to compete via a place like Sleepwell, I will struggle. But now they are struggling because the organization is not lean enough to compete with us. Like you see example of Wakefit in the mattress category. It is dominating in space. So I feel it's a huge opportunity. It's a monumental change which is going to happen. And I always give this example. 15 years back, if someone told you click a button and there will be a chauffeur-driven car waiting outside your home, you say, this guy is stupid, right? So things have changed. So I think it'll change. So everybody is seeing change nowadays. That's how I look at it, actually.
Right. Thanks, Puneet. Kriti, you are also, Store Repo is also a D2C brand. So,
e-commerce platform.
E-commerce as well.
We provide them more to create their D2C online portal with us.
Right. So, what are your observations on the changes in consumer behavior that has happened, and also how are you kind of looking at greater engagement with this changed consumer now?
Yes. So as my fellow speakers have said, definitely the penetration of mobile, internet accessibility, and then COVID has completely accelerated or given a push to this online medium. And definitely as Store Repo is concerned, our customers are primarily the enterprises. And they want to unlock the new growth opportunities, or for them to adopt D2C, B2B, or hybrid business models is really important to stay afloat in this competitive world. So to reach, engage, and convert their customers is a new challenge in this competitive world. And for that, they need data-driven insights to plan their strategic and marketing plans, successful marketing plans.
Right. So data-driven plans, I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Right. So data-driven plans is something we are going to dwell on a little bit more. So first, but Shiv Kumar, now you cater to a segment, as you were explaining, which is not very much in the marketer's radar, so to say, the age group. So
Right.
how have you created a successful marketing plan, and how do you get to know this consumer base, which is not really very much visible, for the
Right.
brands and marketers?
Right. Right. See, first I'd like to address the changes that sort of happened in the last couple of years. Although digital adoption has always been happening in the past decade or so, right? Due to various factors, internet becoming dirt cheap, a lot of digital devices being available, right? For a very reasonable rate, so that people in villages also can afford smartphones. All of that has been happening, but what COVID did was accelerated this adoption to a rate no one had earlier imagined, right? Just to give you an example, the technology that we are using to communicate with each other, this brand itself went through a blockbuster IPO during because of what happened after COVID, right? Nobody had foreseen such kind of digital adoption even 2 years back. So all those people who are in the business of reaching out to people, other people digitally, selling digitally, have been the beneficiaries, and a lot of other people who were operating online are now forced to offline, when are now forced to operate online because of all these factors. When we talk about our business, our set of challenges are slightly different, although we have been largely beneficiary of what happened after COVID, right? uh, this segment of people was always rather lonely, but they always had their own offline networks. They would go out to parks, talk to each other, right? They had their daily rituals, which was badly disrupted during the time of COVID, and they were confined in their homes. Their kids were away in different cities, and the problem of loneliness sort of came out in the open, much in a much bigger way than it had in the past. And that's where we saw an opportunity, in the sense that why don't we build a business model around doing something good. In our sense, good is not just providing medical care, which a lot of other players are already providing, but good in the sense that just give a community feeling and a sense of belongingness to these people who rather don't have anywhere to go to apart from their own immediate family members, and a lot of these family members are not even staying with them. So if you talk about from our perspective, that's what really worked for us. Having said that, the challenge right now is how to reach out these people, because these people are not natively digitally savvy. If I give you numbers, there are around 200 million people who are probably above the age of 55 or 60 in India, right? As of now, and this number is expected to go to around 480, 500 million by 2050. So this is a growing segment. It's not like it's a stagnating segment. This is a growing segment. Having said that, out of these 200 million people, roughly about 10% are online. About 25 million people are there on Facebook, around 30 million people are there on WhatsApp. So our goal is, even if we reach out to 10% of these people, we'll have a good enough community, an online community that provides a sense of belongingness to our members, and in terms of business model, provides a absolutely new channel to address this audience segment, which many brands have started to do of late, right? So that's our value proposition, and we plan to make this a household name in the months and years to come. And we also plan to go global, because if you look at global space as well, uh, barring one or two brands which tend to call themselves social networking or online community for older adults or senior citizens, there's not really a product in the real sense of the kind of product that you have for younger people, like Instagram, you have TikTok, you have Facebook, you have all of these platforms, but none for this audience. So that's where we are operating right now, and it's a very exciting space to be in, both from the business point of view, from personally from marketing point of view. It's probably the toughest task that I've ever had in my hand in my more than a decade years of experience, right? Otherwise it has been very easy. Run a few ad campaigns and you generally tend to get your results. But right now, trying to reach out to these people, that's the first task that we need to figure out, how to effectively to reach out to these people and then to retain them. So it's very exciting, and future looks bright, considering that this audience segment is expanding, and 17% of these people are financially self-dependent. So that's quite a big number. if you want to actually generate revenue from this business model.
Right, right. Thanks, Shiv Kumar. Kriti, as you were mentioning about, a data-centric strategy, a data-centric approach, to targeting, to, reach out to this consumer. Now, we know that Google is going to remove your third-party cookies, from next year onwards, and so there is now a sharper focus on how to target and how to, actually recognize and bring these customer groups under your fold. So first party data is something that a lot of people are turning to. So what are the challenges that you see, in first party gathering? Because this is like gold. It's a gold mine for every company, right? So how do you go about, collecting this data and, build your strategy on this, after third party cookie is gone?
Oh, definitely. So I think from the marketing perspective, it is really, really important to understand your, customer fully, and then to, touch, customers at different touch points. To create that omni-channel presence is very important. And for that, I think you need to start, with the online presence, definitely digitally, and then the mobile presence, your social media presence, and then, you need to create an app. So, and definitely with this omni-channel presence, only the brands can monetize, to a very great level. And for this, Store Repo has, made it super easy for merchants with its, features. So we provide features like multi-store, multilingual, multi-vendor, so that these customers, these brands can open, their stores at different levels. And they can serve their customers in their local dialect with local currency. So, and with this, the data that you are saying that we have compiled can come very handy. And then the, the brands can serve their customers through their, different buying journeys. The buying personas can be created, and then they can fulfill their, clients very easily. Secondly, now coming up with the hyper-local thing, which is very end, the, again, the brands can deliver to their customers rapidly. They can connect with their local sellers, which are located in a, after creating the local stores, they connect with their local sellers. They can onboard them onto their marketplaces and then fulfill their orders through these local stores, which are nearest to that particular customer.
Right, right. Hyperlocal is something which we will touch upon a little bit later. In the meantime, Puneet, why don't you, take us through how you are now gathering data to know your consumer base? How are you developing, a data-centric approach or strategy into your business?
So as far as data-centric approach is concerned, we have tried a lot of models. We have tried DMP platforms. We have tried platforms like Criteo. We have tried, Kriti mentioned, omni-channel approach, like targeting through Facebook, email marketing, sending inserts to customer, warranty cards. But if you ask me, what are the results? Is the conversion high? I think a lot of efforts have gone into converting those customers who for selling more to the same customer, I would say. But I won't say the results have been very significant. People told me that, I'll give you I'm a performance marketer myself, right? So I only talk numbers in general. And if I look at the numbers and we run reports on a daily basis, when we run campaigns on first party data or our existing customer base, the acquisition cost has not gone down significantly. So which brings to the point that what is important is branding. If I run a campaign on Google or Amazon on a generic keyword versus a branded keyword like Sleepsia, my acquisition cost is less than 5%. See, marketing is works on two things: hope and fear. You have to catch the customer in these two platforms. I hope if I buy this product, it will do well to me. Fear, if I don't buy this product, what bad it's going to do to me. Right? You have to understand that fact. And I've been a performance marketer for the last 10 years, used every single platform you name, from Blue Kai to low to me and spend $250,000 on annual fees. Results were not that great. What really matters is the brand, the quality of the product, and great customer service. The basics remain the same. I have seen that when we have provided great customer service to a dissatisfied customer, he has come back to us. We have run a lot of campaigns. Maybe my category is different. Maybe beauty may be a different category. But there are a lot of talks about the first party data, so many platforms coming in, influencer marketing coming in. Every day my email is bombarded with 10 influencer marketing company. Yesterday, Karan Johar also launched an influencer marketing company. His salesperson was also in my office. I think two mistakes I did in my life. I always tell to my wife. First, I never opened up a dating site, which was not there when I got married 20 years back. It's a great business to be. It's a super business to be. Nothing is more successful than a dating site.
Sorry to interrupt, and Puneet, there is never too late. You can start it at any point, given point in life. I think it's never too late.
I'm motivating my son.
So there are no regrets in life to make.
My son is telling, what should I do? Dad, I'm going to open up a dating site, my son. You're going to make a lot of money. Trust me. People are going to pay 5,000, 6,000, 10,000, whatever you want, they will pay. They will not spend 1,500 buying a memory foam pillow, but so, that's what I'm trying to do. Propensity to consume is there.
Puneet, if I can give you just a little line, if you say that you will sleep well to date well, probably something in that sort, maybe you can sell.
Yeah, so actually, I spoke to the CEOs of Tinder and all, कि भाई मेरा ad campaign कहीं तो चल नहीं रहा, आप ही हमारे उसमें डाल दो. So they gave me, see, I'm a very funny guy. I don't take too much stress. There's all this data I've not done and finished and all. So my theory is that the brand is important. The basics remain the same. People, if they search Sleepsia on Amazon platform versus a pillow on Amazon platform or Google, just think about it and try it today at home. जहां आपने pillow डाला, आपको 50 brand दिखेंगे. Correct? Like Suta search kiya maine. If I search Suta on Amazon or Suta in Google, I will see Suta. I will click on Suta. I'll buy Suta. If I search a sari, there'll be 50 brands there. I will click on every single brand. You have to bid heavily to be on top of sari, and tomorrow anyone can bid. You bid 500 rupees or $500 a keyword, you will rank on top. Correct. So, all this first party data and all should be level 6, level 7 to me. To me is brand. That's why if you see the more successful companies in the world, like the Levers, the Asian Paints, they really focus on building brands. That is the game. Everything will be taken care of. If the brand affinity is strong, the brand association is strong, it will click. First party data, DMP platform, retargeting, Criteo, there are so many, nothing works. Trust me, nothing works. आज चलेगा, कल नहीं चलेगा. परसों चलेगा, नहीं चलेगा, भगवान जानता है. Shiv Kumar is here, right? So my son is making an app for senior citizens, by the way. He was telling me that he's trying out something. A Tambola app for senior citizens. He was telling me something. I said, don't do that. Start a dating app. You will make more money. So anyway, so I think first party data, everything is important, but I would put it at level 2. First, I will put the brand affinity. So if you have the brand affinity and then you push the first party data, then it works. And that's why you see all these big companies like the Swiggies of the world, Dream 11 is a classic example. The amount of money they have pumped into branding, unimaginable. I know the figures. I know the figure they're spending on creating one ad. The guy who makes the ad for them is a very dear friend of mine. And he showed me the figures in an Excel sheet. I jumped out of my seat. We cannot imagine, So, the problem is that the bigger fishes are eating the smaller fishes. at a speed of knots. So, the challenge for the smaller fishes is to build a big brand. How do they do that? They don't have the money. So you have to, dwell on building a brand. All these first-party data, retargeting, omni-channel should be level 2. First is build the brand, reduce your acquisition cost, then move forward. So we run a brand which is doing good revenue. We have not in losses. When I see some of the revenues of this company is doing 120 crore revenue, 40 crore loss, I told the founder, give me that money, I'll make you profitable. You get me on as a consulting, give me few crores, I'll give you some mantra, how to make it profitable. So I think the brand is the critical part. The first party data and all are important. I'm sure there are a lot of platforms. They come and sell you. And first thing they will tell you is, let's optimize. This is in the optimization phase. After 3 weeks, the same company will, Reshmi is laughing, let's optimize. And I optimize
we have all gone through this journey. Puneet,
I think we have all.
Yes, we are all we started and having a big challenge in the initial starter years. And now currently, after facing so many challenges, we have come to a stage where we can definitely say that this is something which will work. And this is something which will accelerate in the given current scenario. So, yes.
Puneet, I wholeheartedly agree with you what you have said. Having said that, there's one very small problem that we should not forget is that to build brands, you need a lot of budget. Budget ho to har koi branding kar le, right? I would also love to see my TV ads.
Right? Sorry, Shanta, I'm taking the topic off.
No.
Sorry, we are having a branding.
I'm very good at that. I make all the conversations very, humorous. I'm not a very serious kind of guy.
So yes, branding. See, branding is important. Having said that, we have to live with segmentation. We have to live with digital behavior, right? We have to live with whatever optimization we can do, whatever mileage we can derive out of every single rupee that we are spending on advertising.
Correct.
And being a performance marketer first, I obviously I love branding. All of us know, branding principles. All of us know marketing principles. But because of the fact that budget is limited always, especially while when we are working in a early stage startup like I am, right? Their funds are very limited. Manpower resources are very limited. How do you optimize whatever little budget you have got and get the maximum mileage, right? That's the game. And so, it's not as easy as.
Sorry, if I'm interrupting. Just to add to that, I have a slightly different opinion on branding requires higher budget. So I started with Suta 3.5 years back, and we are a bootstrap company till date. Started Suta when it was doing a 1.5 CR annually. Now we are doing a 50 CR annually, and we are completely bootstrapped again. E-commerce only brand, depending heavily on branding. And if I tell you the word like bootstrap, not invested, only branding, you know how much money we have in our hands. So the idea here is to building emotions and building a community is what I feel. Then the money, how much ever you put or you don't put, your revenue will come. That's what I feel. Because at Suta, what we did, one of the things that we did was building a community. So once we were at an offsite and someone just ran up to us and came, hey, you know what, I'm XYZ, and I mean, she came up to me saying, you're wearing this saree. I said, yeah. And my founders were also there. So she went to my founder saying, I know you girls. Y'all are in Suta, right? I am a part of the community. So you were like, which community? We were only starters. Then they're like, oh, Suta Queen, y'all call me. So I'm in that community. That's when we also realized what we did, that was building a community. Since then, people only buy so that they can be featured on our Instagram stories. It's not even a post. Instagram stories, and I mean, well, a lot of brand consultants come and tell me that y'all have so many stories, dekhta kaun hai, but actually dekhte log. I only want to see mera story par gaya ki nahi, am I tagged by the brand? I'm very happy. I'll again buy because you have made me feel better or good, whatever it may.
Good idea. Good idea.
So
good idea.
I think here it's a customer-centric approach that you have followed at Suta. So again, at Store Hippo, we are following the same. So we started with long tail, and now we are actually catering to clients, big brands, enterprises. So we have seen that journey.
So it is not easy. One needs to follow that customer-centric approach if nothing else can work out. You need to
Okay,
satisfy
so
your
Kriti,
customer.
all the panelists, so all the panelists here gets 1 year free subscription for Store Hippo, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Why not? Why should we come and try Store Hippo?
I'm just
Absolutely,
asking.
absolutely. No, definitely come and you'll be more than delighted with the offers, with the offers
Asking.
that we have.
No, customer centric.
I'm also telling you, you should come, definitely try Storepo and come and try all the features that we have and let us know what else you want, and we are there to serve you.
Oh,
I would
we're building
definitely
it
love to
in-house.
try Store Hippo. But I think one thing that Kirti said, which I'll pick up from, is the customer-centric approach. So one thing I always believe in, and I've always focused on, even in the brands I've worked with previously, is marrying customer support team with marketing. Both of us are married to each other. That's what we call ourselves. I understand content is most important. Everything, performance marketing, everything is important. But I'm talking everything good. But if the customer has faced a very bad experience due to whatever logistics, it could be anything, right? He or she comes back and the customer facing person is your customer service executive and she says, "Arey ho gaya kya? Sorry, yeah." There have been such instances, and customer has literally come up to us saying, what you speak on social media is not what you speak on to me over the phone. To iron this issue out is why we are married to each other. So what we speak on a social media or any touch points that for customer touch points, that's what we speak even on a customer service touch point. So usually people think that it is the founder who's on over the call. It is the founder who's replying to you over emails. As delusional as it sounds, people still presume that it's the founder. It's someone who's also replying to you on email, who's also replying to you on Instagram, WhatsApp, all your touch points, social media. It's the same person who's talking to me on call. So this seamlessness, whereas there are more than 10 people involved in this entire process, is what we tried getting so that the customer comes back. And now we have more than 50% return rate in terms of customers. And this is one thing we maintain and we still maintain. And there are days when our founders literally pick up the phone and talk to the customer saying, "Hey, listen, we booked up here, sorry." Be it international, domestic, any customer. So marrying your customer service, customer support team with your marketing team, I think that is what brings the seamlessness and closes the loop in terms of customer experience, right? Otherwise, it's just that you're talking too much on Instagram, you're telling me things, but where are you telling me the story?
Right.
We can ask
So
you two
basically,
questions.
the customer support is the face of a brand, Rashmi. So I think that needs to be streamlined completely. So we need to understand our customers, problems and then cater to them and then understand, give them the solution. And that's wherein your brand will grow.
Rashmi, I have a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
Sorry, very, very good. So when you said you are bootstrap 50 crore, majority of the revenue comes from website or from marketplaces?
Website. We went on marketplaces a year ago, and that too only on Myntra and Nykaa.
Okay. Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting. And when
We
you said about
started as an
building
e-commerce
community, how will you build a community of sarees? I'm trying to figure it out.
That's what happens, right? We often usually underestimate India, the Indian customers. The emotions is what I'm talking about. If we can have, with all due respect to all religions, if we can have temples, mosques, churches who have a lot of money in them because people are donating there, why can't we have? Because temples and all the religious places run on one thing, right? That's emotion and faith. So why can't brands run on these two emotions? That's emotion and faith. Sari being a sentimental value for a woman, and now even catering to men because men also wear it as dhoti. So for a woman, it's something you've got from your mom. And also one thing what we've done is earlier saris is always, there's a conception that sari is a little for the older audience, it is for people who are old. But what we did was, so saris, usually most saris come starched. So Suta started making unstarched mull saris at affordable rates, which is your 1313, 1300 rupees only. And you get a plain solid color, unstarched sari, and a color that any millennial from 16 years old to 60-year-old can wear.
You're manufacturing it in-house?
Yeah, everything is in-house. So
Hats
very
off to you,
practical.
Reshma.
To
So I
go
think you're
back
doing a wonderful job. And yes, I think to your point, Puneet, I think it is very important to understand, yes, definitely if you're selling on marketplace, that cannot be the primary reason to, show growth. Definitely you need to build your brand. You need to satisfy your customers. You need to see what are the different avenues you can fulfill, to your, to your customers, and where you can meet your customers. You need to have a digital presence.
Correct.
So omni-channel
And it's
presence is
also
definitely very much required, right?
See,
Right.
the point regarding data, first party data or second party or third party data, basically, if you talk about me, I am experiencing both e-commerce and social networking, hand in hand. So data is extremely important for us. So we do collect user data, and we do use it very sensibly, keeping in mind what are customers' privacy rights and what are not. So if you talk about from marketing perspective, I generally would trust the kind of audience that a platform like Facebook would provide me, and because I've actually tested their targeting and whether it is good or not. So running campaigns on a platform like Facebook, I'm very comfortable with. I've also got a lot of good results from there. Once I've got the user on a platform, I have all the data I need, regarding the user. Then I will use automation. Then I will use retention marketing tool like CleverTap. I will use push notifications, SMS, email, pop-up, everything, all the channels that are available. But these channels will be effective only when the user data that I have collected is accurate and up to date, right? So from that point,
how do you collect the first user data? What technology you use in the backend?
so you will have to create a lot of events throughout your entire platform, whether it is web.
Engage and CleverTap, but not for an e-commerce, for a different business actually.
So see, the key to collecting user data is to get the right inputs at the right time. So you can do it through user attributes like what is their demographic, what is their acquisition channel, what is their propensity to purchase or buy, or you can check out their behavior on your platform and collect data points at various levels, when they are interacting with your platform via events, when they are taking useful action, conversion actions on your platform. It can be either purchase, in our case it is booking and attending an event, or posting something on the social platform that I consider as a conversion action. So I'll collect all these data points, and once I've collected these points, then I'll do my segmentation. Earlier days, segmentation used to be done, right? There was this process of STP, segmenting, targeting, and positioning. That's the classical, branding activity that we all used to do. The only difference in digital world is segmenting is different now, and it is micro segmenting. It is segmenting based on users' profiles, based on their behavior, based on their different interactions that they have taken on your platform. So there are hundreds of different segments that you can create, and you can then hyper personalize, which I believe is one of the topics of discussion today, right? So hyper personalization again will not work effectively if you have not segmented your audience properly. So see, branding is an overarching catch-all term that we all are aware of. Branding solves everything, but even if you do a performance activity, even if you do a campaign to generate sale, that also contributes towards your branding. It's not like it's totally only towards generating revenue, right? So when you have a when you have to pick and choose between how you want to spend your money, you'd also obviously try to achieve both the goals, right? You would try to drive some results as well as create engagement and brand presence in users' minds. So gone are the days when most brands would generally blindly put up a hoarding, do a lot of mass media activities, and no questions will be asked for the efficacy of the spend, right? People have now started asking questions regarding ROI. People have now started asking questions regarding the effectiveness of the medium, and this is all happening because of the opening up of the digital media channels that we have right now. There are numerous devices, there are numerous ways of targeting people, right, on digital world, and that has changed the entire paradigm of marketing.
Right. Yes, sorry. I think, I mean, a lot of the questions that I had prepared, I mean, they've really been answered by everyone. One thing that Shiv Kumar, I want to know from you is, we've touched upon branding, and we've touched upon, having a customer-centric approach. So for a target segment like yours, where the TG is at a very specific life cycle stage, right? So
Right.
how do you kind of customize your branding, for this TG group? How does it work for them, for the senior citizens?
Not just the branding. I tell you, the entire experience has to be very, led by lot of human, touch. It can't be fully
Offline
automated
activations.
because
Offline
we are
activations
dealing.
we have.
Exactly, we are dealing with a audience segment that is very sensitive to how they are communicated to and how their problems are solved. So our
Right.
customer support team is extremely active. We reach out to every single person who raises any query. We call them, understand. There have been instances when we tried to experiment it with subscription model, and we realized that a lot of people were facing issues just to complete the checkout process. And for each such cases, our customer support team, sometimes even the customer support lead who is heading the entire team, would personally call these senior citizens and tell them step by step how to complete the checkout process. And that actually matters a lot. There are a lot of customers who call our support team, individual members, they know by their name, right, at odd hours of the day, and just friendly chit chat about a lot of things. That's the kind of relationship we have tried to build, and it has to happen that way. Having said that, there is certain level of automation and there's certain level of AI engine that definitely needs to go into any kind of marketing activity that I'm doing, any kind of engagement activity that I'm doing, because otherwise it's not really scalable. Today I'm operating at a very small scale. I would say our app installs are about to touch 4 lakh. We have about 2 lakh registered users, but that's just the beginning. Talk about any social networking app, I would like to have millions of members, active members on coming onto the platform every single day. Right now they are in thousands. I want them to be in millions. And when you reach that scale, right, then individual one-to-one interaction is not really feasible from business standpoint. So you really need to got to build a process that takes care of the human element. Having said that, there's a lot of automation, and there's a lot of intelligent AI that also needs to go into it.
No, absolutely. Just to add to this, that manual education is required at every step, because with such an upsurge in technological advancement has happened, that these older people, they need that kind of a knowledge and know-how how to go and go to that app and do certain steps. As you just said that going to the last step or towards the closure, they get stuck, they don't know how to do it. So that kind of a education is required. I think
we are also in the process of for the same reason that you are talking about. We are also in the process of organizing regular weekly sessions to educate users about all our product features, because during one of our, and we keep doing this calling activity with users every now and then. There are people dedicatedly to calling people every single day, trying to find out what they think about the platform, whether it is social features, whether it is events. And we have got a lot of feedback saying that recent changes that we have done, a lot of people are not able to understand what has happened, although the change is very not too much from the point of view of people who are digital savvy, right? But people who are not, even a small change like changing a screen means a whole a lot of change to them, and they need hand holding in such cases.
Absolutely.
So, Shiv Kumar, I just have a question because it's very unique and the target audience and your product, right? What I understand is for to come on a platform, people will have to pay online as well. Like it should be all prepaid, right? Payment,
Sorry,
there's a payment involved, right?
no, there is no payment involved right now. Evergreen Club is completely free.
Okay. So there's no payment involved. It's all
There is
completely
no.
free that people can come.
Everything is absolutely free.
Delhi-based or Bangalore-based company?
It is going to be probably Bangalore-based. It was originated last year during COVID times, and since past 3 years, the entire seniority and Evergreen Club team has been operating fully remotely. We used to have an office in Pune. Our company is registered in Mumbai, but once the office reopens, we'll probably have offices both in Pune and Bangalore.
Right. So we touched upon hyper personalization over here. Now that is something which marketing strategies are moving towards. Now, how do you maintain this very fine balance, between hyper personalization on the one hand and maintaining customers' privacy? So, Puneet, could you like to take it up first?
Honestly, I don't have an answer for this. I'll be very honest with you.
Right, it's
I will
tough.
not give you a false answer, but I don't have an answer for it. But I can give you
Hmm.
a few insights into this.
Right.
What I've realized, the fundamental of frequency cap. Frequency cap is number of times you deliver your product, your banner to a customer. What we have realized, a 20 frequency cap is a good cap over a period of 30 days to help customer remember your brand. 20 frequency cap. So you have to show your ads 20 times to a customer over 30 days. Now, what are the laws behind it? I don't know. I'll give you another classic example. You click something on Instagram. So I always forget my Instagram password. So every time I open up a new account, my wife says, you have given me 6 invites, which is you. I'm like, okay, let me think, because I always forget I am not very active on social media. Very pathetic in social media. So one thing I realized when I use this social media platform, you click on a particular category, okay, by mistake, suppose. They keep showing you the same ad again and again.
Right.
Okay. Now, if I purchase, with great, I'm being a bania, I'm very cautious about buying from Facebook. I don't trust Facebook much. More of an Amazon person for 10 years of my life. So I bought the product from there. And that's where my faith gets diluted in all these social media platforms. I bought the product, and assumingly now I'm a converted customer, correct? Shiv Kumar, you run Facebook ads, right?
You still be shown those ads, right? That's what you are saying.
Why I'm showing this ad? This is illegal.
I'll tell you why that happens if you want to know. See, that's simply because any kind of retargeting campaign will keep retargeting you regardless of whether you have purchased or not, till I change the audience, right? Once I modify the audience and tell Facebook that now you are a qualified customer and you should be removed from that audience set, it will keep on showing you ads. So it's rather the laziness on the part of the person who is running the campaign, not per se the fault of the platform.
But if I have got 50,000 audiences and what is the frequency you change the audience, Shiv Kumar?
So you keep on churning converted customers from your audience set at a fixed regular interval, maybe weekly, maybe fortnightly. The audience set that you have defined for retargeting, right? Change the definition of the audience set. Change the definition in the way that you keep only people who have not purchased from you from that particular segment. The moment they have purchased, they are qualified and move to a different set of segment for which the communication will be different.
But don't you think then launching new products will be a challenge for you? Suppose you want a new launches come.
Just to interrupt your conversation. So Puneet, since you purchased the product, probably the communication coming to you could be, you know what, you bought something, can you review it? I will give you 50 rupees off on an expert.
So you are a particular customer, so you are there in the pipeline, right? And you will get the notifications, and you are now their regular customer. So they don't have to start from scratch, right? So they will start from not paid, but from
search.
Right.
We spend heavily on search because the intent to buy is there. Right.
Right.
Social media, I find it sometimes, even if I see my reports in social media, the performance is very erratic. Number one. Even the returns are very erratic. The ROI is very erratic. Some days the ROIs is very good, some days it is low. Then you deep down into the daily report system, the returns also from social media platform are very high. People just buy, demographics. I can tell you without disrespect to any community or anything, people from Jammu and Kashmir buying, goods cannot be delivered. People from Mizoram buying, how will you deliver them? Maids and drivers buying. I face this situation.
To create the audience accordingly, Puneet. The solution to that is create the audience accordingly.
You're trying to reach the customer. You're trying to reach the customer. You're trying to build a brand. So lookalike audience aata hai. I've done all this 4-5 years back. Bola yaar, ye to chal nahi raha yaar. पता नहीं क्या होगा. So one thing I've realized that whether we make money or not money, Facebook will definitely make money. So I'm finding ways and means that whether they make money or not, I should also make money. So that's the battle I'm fighting.
So
That's a real
to come,
That's a real battle. See, I'm telling you, I was in a job. It was so easy. And 30th, you have to get salaries. Now I have to pay salaries on 30th.
Now, coming back to the topic of privacy versus personalization, Shanta, my 2 cents is, people don't mind personalized communication as long as it is helpful to them and delivered at the right time when they are in the right frame of mind, right? Nobody would want, although technically when I send a push notification or when I send a, let's say, WhatsApp message, WhatsApp is a very personal medium, by the way, right? So when I send a WhatsApp message or push notification, I am technically speaking invading their privacy. But if I have done my job correctly, they don't mind that invasion of privacy. If privacy is invaded every single time an ad is thrust on your face in your news feed on Facebook or Instagram, right? But do you mind that? As long as the communication that is being shown to you is relevant to you. Let's say you are a very avid shopper of shoes, and Facebook understands that, and Facebook tries to show you a lot of shoe related ads. So there might be a high chance that you would have purchased 1 or 2 shoes already, but does that stop you from being an avid shopper of shoes again? No, it doesn't, right? And if I see a ad targeted, very nicely crafted, very visually appealing ad that is catering to my interest set, I don't mind that. So I don't mind that level of privacy invasion. The only where the disruption happens is when I'm targeting my communication poorly and interrupting people's experiences when I should not be, right? Let's say I send out a communication on WhatsApp when that person has no intention of coming back on my platform or no intention of interacting with me. The next thing they will do is report that message and block you. And the next thing Facebook will do is downgrade your account, and you will probably, and if many such instances happen, you'll probably not be able to send any more messages, right? Your account will be blocked.
Right.
The messenger bot, I think so. The messenger bot.
There are a lot of ways by which you can customize, we can highly personalize your communication, and as long as you are doing that diligently, and as long as you are keeping your communication customer centric, keeping in mind what the customer and the user wants, right? I don't see people having issues with privacy. I mean, मेरा भी data Facebook में है. Facebook तो क्या ही तो कर लेगा मेरा data लेके. What will they do? I mean, I'm a normal user, right?
What kind of frequency cap you work on?
Frequency capping for what? For Facebook ads?
Facebook ad for the show or messaging.
See, any kind of communication, frequency will totally depend on the kind of product that I'm promoting. In a way, if it is a product that that I can sort of talk to people for a longer period of time, I don't mind the frequency reaching as high as 10-15 times. But there may be for some product categories I wouldn't want more than 3-4 exposures, right? So it totally depends on what the product category is and what the response to my communication I'm getting from the users. So even after exposing the same user to, let's say, 50 or 20 insertions, I'm still getting a response and my conversions are pretty good. That's an indication that the customer doesn't mind seeing your ad again and again. I'll give you an example of Whitehead Junior. Every one of us would have seen Whitehead Junior ads, few months back, right? And I personally have seen so many Whitehead Junior ads, I can't even begin to tell you. Every single time I'll open Facebook, I'll see Whitehead Junior ad, right? It was highly irritating. So that's one extreme. The other extreme is when you see 1 or 2 an ad of a brand 1 or 2 times and then you never see it again, right? The brand even registers in your mind, considering there is a lot of clutter in the online space. So you'll have to find your own balance between 1 or 2 insertions or irritating customers.
But this is in terms of marketing, right? But I think in terms of B2C websites also, where if there are website first companies, hyper personalization can be done on the website. For example, if you go on any other website, it's very more than cluttered. That you are spoiled for choice, right? And your sessions page per page sessions also increases because as a brand and for a customer, it's like, what should I buy? Because I want to buy 10 things, but my budget is so much. So if the brand helps personalize the entire website as per what are my needs, my wants, my history, my purchase history, which is, and if you show me exactly or more or less what I will buy or might buy, I think those kind of personalization can also help a customer make informed decision and buy and go and push for a higher cart value. So this hyper personalization on the website or app for that matter, and even A/B testing, if you go for that, can help in contribute largely to the revenue and also help the customer come back. So when you do your marketing, when you do performance marketing on any customer and acquiring that customer, your LTV is also considered, right? Your lifetime value. So if you have a customer who comes again and again to buy a product, you have acquired me for a lifetime. Say it even 6 months, say it even if it is for a year. But if you're if you're a website first, if you're an app first company, and if I come to your website and I get more or less of what I want, whereas I know that you have say 2,000 products, 5,000 products, but you're showing me top 100 or 200 products which will fit into my budget, my taste, my likes. It will help me as a customer have a better experience, have a better purchase experience, and it will lead to a higher AOV. This is something we have witnessed, and even A/B testing to a very large extent. So, how to know if this personalization is helping people, not helping people? Most brands have these questions, right? And likely so. So, if you do A/B testing on showing certain things to certain set of audience, certain things to certain set of audience, it helps you analyze and also data driven. Coming back to the data point as well, it helps you with the data and taking more. It is a gut combined with a data decision that as a brand custodian you'll be able to take, because you know that these are the numbers that your A/B testing or whatever your analytics is showing, and this is what your gut is saying. So you come to a common ground on what is what is the decision you need to take to acquire more customer and also push the customer's envelope to a higher order value. Even in ads, right? I think adding to that, even in ads, we can if it's hyper localization, we can touch on regional content. What I mean here is we often see ads in English. Rarely do we see in Hindi. I read Hindi. I can read Hindi, Marathi, and 5 other regional languages, but I get ads only in English. Of course, that's because the content I consume majorly is in English, but I also consume content in 4 other regional languages, but I don't get even one single ad. Probably if we shift our focus from just concentrating on English content to actually moving or shifting gears to regional content, which is your written content, even if it means you're putting out video ads in that language, showing it to that specific, even if it's niche, right? How many of us have experimented showing regional content to that regional audience and getting a higher ROI? How many of us have seen the results? How many of us have even taken the steps to do that? Rarely so.
In our case, I can tell you, Evergreen Club, most of the campaigns are run in Hindi. I've experimented with multiple languages, English also being the same, and my results from Hindi communication, Hindi videos, Hindi advertising, has been much better than English, because the nature of my audience, right? Most of my audience are comfortable with Hindi. They are not that comfortable with English. So I have stopped trying to thrust English on them unnecessarily and switch to Hindi. And in future, when we launch more languages on our platform, which we plan to do, I am also going to run campaigns in Tamil, Telugu, and all other regional languages,
and
because
so
that's what users want.
Hippo, because we provide that kind of a platform where you can work in different language through our multilingual feature, and definitely we have a multi-currency, so the checkout will be very easy for them.
She's giving 1 year free to all the participants.
Right. So I think last word from you, Kriti, on hyper personalization and how Store Repo does that. And I think
Yes, so in today's scenario, I think hyper-personalization is very, very important. So brands are aware that, they need to understand the buyer buying journeys and they plan their marketing efforts accordingly. So they want to boost their conversions and that, they by showing their customers what exactly they want and they want to buy. So this definitely, as I said earlier, through our features, the multilingual, multi-currency, they can do so by creating their website, by creating a presence in different languages, by giving them their preferred language, the currency also and language. So they can, actually build on the relationship for a better engagement, for retention and conversion. So definitely, I believe the hyper personalization is the utmost important feature while you are, giving back to your customers.
Shanta, if I could just add to what
sure.
Kriti said, I think we all spoke about how important hyper-personalization is and in terms of digital media, right? But I think one single thing, which is, for example, if we put a note with any of your products, right? For example, if we send out saris or blouses, right? And if I know, for argument's sake, it's coming to Kolkata, and if I put like one note in Bengali, written in Bengali, saying, good to meet you, or thank you for buying from us. You have helped more than 16,000 weavers and artisans today by making this one purchase. Written in your regional language can make all the more difference as well. And we've seen this happen. So this one note can also make the difference. As much as an effort people see, people think, kya hai, paper mein likha, take denge. Most of us at least make the attempt to read it once, and especially if it's in our regional language. As much as I may or may not know to read my language, I'll at least see or ask someone and for example, my mom who knows to read in my regional language to read and see what have they written for me. And it's come to me in my regional language makes a lot of difference. That's what I wanted to add.
Very interesting. Very
interesting. Right.
Very interesting.
So thank you everyone, Kriti, Puneet, Reshmi, Shivkumar, for really enriching this panel. And I would say that it was very interactive, not the normal, Q&A. I asked the questions and, the panelists responded. It was quite an interesting experience over here. We learned a lot, and knowing about the consumers is going to be an uphill task as the consumer evolves, as the behaviors change, and as more, wanted, unwanted challenges they crop up in the ecosystem. So thank you so much for this conversation. Thank you for enriching our panel over here.
Thank you so much for inviting.
This session was very interesting and entertaining in equal measures. Thank you, panelists, for your insights.